Celebrity Chef Mark Haley.
I want the old Chef Mark.
Our buddy, Chef Mark Haley.
We have celebrity chef Mark Haley.
Hi everyone, this is Chef Mark with Appliance Factory Fine Lines, and I'm here to talk about the magic that is sous vide cooking. It's a very simple and easy way to make wonderful food, but it can be a little confusing. Sous vide utilizes a water bath as the cooking method. So I'm going to show you a quick dinner including a pork loin and a vegetable hash with just a few simple ingredients. I'm also going to show you the three major sous vide machines and devices out there. Stay tuned and let's get to work. I'm making Cajun roasted pork loin, and I'm going to make a Cajun seasoning. I like to make my own blend, and I have all these wonderful flavors here: cumin, crushed red pepper flakes, garlic, thyme, basil, oregano is great, white pepper, dry mustard, smoked paprika, and salt. All of those are really nice in a Cajun blend. You can really customize that to match your flavor profile that you prefer. I put everything in a blender, just mix it together, and I make a lot of it at a time because it's so delicious. What I'm going to do is vacuum pack my pork here. I'm going to place it in my water bath, anywhere between 150 to 160 degrees. 160 is going to be less pink, 150 is still going to have that nice tinge of pink in it if you prefer that. But I don't season my meat before I package it for sous vide because the flavors will become overwhelming. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this into a water bath. I'm going to seal it airtight in a plastic bag, and we're going to get it cooking. So a couple different ways to vacuum pack your food. It's critical that you have a nice vacuum pack on your food so that the meat or the vegetables or anything you're cooking cook in their own juice. So you can use a food saver if you have one of those. But when I'm doing smaller jobs, I just use a freezer bag. Freezer bags actually hold up the heat really, really well. I'm going to do what's known as the water bath method for sealing. So I zip my bag most of the way, and then I push it under the air, under the water, which will push all the air out of that, essentially creating a vacuum. This does a pretty good job if you don't have a vacuum sealer, or again, if you're just doing a small job and don't want to pull out your big vacuum sealer to get all the air out. So I just push it under water, squeeze, 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 and then right when it goes under water, I just zip it, and there we go, and that's nicely vacuum packed. Then I'm going to set this here into my pot of water. This is a wand style sous vide. This is the first of the three styles of sous vide machines I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I want to set the temperature for 155 degrees because I like a little bit of pink in my pork. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. The beautiful thing about sous vide is that you can cook this for much, much longer at a lower temperature than you can conventionally. So once the water hits 155 degrees, my pork can never go beyond that. It can't get any hotter than the water. So that means I'm guaranteed not to overcook my food, and because it's vacuum packed, I can leave it for several hours and not worry about it spoiling because there's no oxygen in the packaging. So 2 hours is about the minimum I recommend, but you could start this at the beginning of the day before you leave for work, come home, pull it out of the packaging, it'll be fully cooked and ready for dinner. The wand style sous vides are the most convenient for most home cooks. This wand does several things simultaneously. It heats the water. There's an impeller that circulates the water, reducing hot spots, allowing this to cook a little bit more quickly. And then it also has a thermostat, which will hold the temperature. They're relatively portable, and I bought mine online for less than $100. Sous vide also works great for vegetables. I'm going to make a potato hash utilizing the sous vide. I've got 3 potatoes here, and what I'm going to do is peel my potatoes, and then I'm going to dice these. Okay, I got all my vegetables cut here. I've got Trinity, which is onion and peppers and celery mixed with my sweet potatoes. And I'm going to sous vide this at 180 degrees for about an hour to hour and a half. I'm going to vacuum pack it in the water just like I did with the pork loin. But this time I'm going to use an integrated sous vide, which is offered by Signature Kitchen Suites. It's built right into the top of their 48-inch Pro range. It's pretty cool. Let me show you that to you. I'm over here at the Signature Kitchen Suites 48-inch Pro range, and this thing has every feature you can want in one unit. Built in, it's got a couple induction burners, 4 gas burners, a built-in sous vide, as well as a convection oven with full culinary features and a steam oven. We're going to focus here on the sous vide. I'm going to do the water bath vacuum pack, just like I did with my pork. in I go. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to set the timer here. I'm going to do this for 3 hours, and I want to go up to 180 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to let this go for about 2 hours, and once it's done, just like the pork, I'm going to put a little bit of a sear on that in a pan to give it a nice flavor. I'm over here in the Monogram kitchen to show you the last style of sous vide devices that I want to introduce, and it's the integrated sous vide. This is a Bluetooth device. It clips to the side of the pot magnetically, and this will speak to the cooktop. You set the temperature, and the burner will just kick on and off and maintain, let's say 135 degrees, whatever you're looking for. It'll do it automatically. This is great because if you're thinking about induction, this is a great way to introduce sous vide without having too much extra hardware in your kitchen. Okay, my pork is ready. I'm going to unpackage it. You'll notice that there's some moisture in there when you unpackage that, and that's just water that's coming out. Okay, so here we go. You can see this is fully cooked, but it doesn't have that caramelized look that you would expect when you're roasting something. So when you're sous videing, particularly protein, it's critical that you put a finishing sear on that. So for steaks, chicken, pork, even seafood, I like to either do a quick sear in a saute pan, which is what I'm going to do right now, or a quick trip across a preheated grill for grill marks. That's going to give it that nice crust that you kind of expect. But it's completely cooked, and you'll notice if you're doing beef, it'll look raw when you pull it out, but I guarantee you, it's fully cooked to the temperature. Here we go. I've got my Cajun seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and season this, kind of on all sides. Don't be shy with this. Okay, here we go. And then I'm preheating a pan, and I'm using induction cooking. I'm going to go ahead and add just a splash of oil into my preheated pan, and then I'm going to set my pork in here. I got that nice sear, which means I have the right amount of preheat. I'm going to brown this on all sides. It'll just take a few minutes. I'm going to set it here on the rack and let it rest, and then I'm going to move on to the hash. Okay, my pork's got a beautiful sear on it on all sides. I'm going to set this on the rack to let that rest. It's important you always rest your meat on a rack so that the airflow can go underneath, and it prevents your food from overcooking, steaming as it sits on the tray. Now in the same pan, I pull my veggies out of the sous vide, and I'm going to sear them in the same pan. I'm going to season them with a little salt and pepper, a touch more of my Cajun seasoning, and we're going to serve that all together. All right, it's time to pull our entree together. This has been really quick. Once I did the initial knife cuts and got everything in the sous vide, I was able to relax, get some other work done, and here I am ready to present. I've got my beautiful potato hash on the plate, and now I'm going to slice the pork to finish it. My pork's been resting just a few minutes. 5 minutes is plenty. I'm going to carve my pork tenderloin against the grain. You can see the grain runs in this long direction, so I want to cut my pork in this way to keep that grain nice and short. And you can see how tender this is, how my knife just glides right through. And here's a little presentation tip. If you carve and keep things together and in order, you're going to get a lot nicer presentation. So I'm going to do about a half of a pork tenderloin per portion. I'm going to fan that out. And sometimes I serve this with a little barbecue sauce, sprig of parsley for a garnish, and you're ready for dinner. So hopefully this unlocks some of the mysteries of sous vide cooking. Thanks for tuning in. This is Chef Mark with Appliance Factory. Fine lines.